Okay. This meeting is being held in accordance to Public Law 1975, Chapter 231. Adequate notice of this meeting has been given and provided by notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building and on the Township website. I would like to call up American Legion Vice Commander Mark Krause to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Always great to be on this side of the podium. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remain standing for a moment of silence for our service members at home and abroad. Madam Clerk.
Okay. Mayor Laufer,
Present.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser. Committeeman Capides will be here. He had a work commitment. Committeeman Huber.
Present.
Committeeman Weber.
Here.
Before we start, at the request of a couple residents, please speak into the microphones. That goes for everybody up here and everybody who will be giving reports or possibly saying anything from our professional side. So thank you in advance. Proclamations and announcements. The Springfield 55 Plus residence calendar for March 2026 is out. It is jam-packed with events and fun things. If you are interested in serving on any boards or the Finance Review Committee, please send an email to residence-review@springfield-nj.us. The Springfield Public Library Vault Reveal is on Sunday, March 15th at 2 p.m. Bulk pickup, one of Robbie's favorite times, is scheduled for Wednesday, March 18th. Please have all items out by Tuesday evening, which would be the 17th. Coffee with a Cop is March 19th at 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. at Halo Roasters. We have a mobile shredding event on Saturday, March 21st at 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Springfield Community Pool. We also have the Egg Hunt and Kite Fest, new feature, Kite Fest, Saturday, March 28th from 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. at Chisholm Park. The rain date is Sunday, March 29th. Bring your baskets, bring your kites, photos with the Easter Bunny, DJ, music, and much more. And finally, Springfield Community Pool membership registration is open online at www.thesay.org/SCP. Now we're going to do public comment on agenda items only. Okay, moving right along. Reports. Mr. Basicolo.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor. A couple of things, now that the weather has started to turn, give you some idea on what we're doing down at DPW. And Robbie, if I forget anything, please jump in. We're making repairs on all of our plows and our spreaders before we store them for the spring and summer. We're washing all the salt off all the trucks. The street sweeper is out and begun canvassing the town. We started cleanup in some of the parks, beginning with all the tennis courts. We also have a crew out filling all the potholes. With such a harsh winter, we've got a lot of damage on the roads. We'll reach out to American Water regarding road repairs. We had 14 water main breaks over the winter months. We contacted the county and the state to begin coordinating the removal of the blockage at the Rawway River. It's an issue that we end up with on a fairly regular basis, once every 6 months or so. Yeah, and again, we've got to contact the state because Morris Avenue is a state highway. We've got to use traffic control there. We've got to get set up, and then the county brings the crane in because A, we don't have the equipment, and B, technically, we're not supposed to be in the river. So we've got to coordinate it. So Mr. Betcher will coordinate that, and hopefully soon we'll get that cleaned up. I did want to touch on, Tamara, can you bring up the tree one that we have? No, the chart. Did we put that on there? Oh, okay. All right, so let me go over, because last week, Ali Miller had mentioned about the trees that we replanted and not replanted. So I just wanted to go over and give you guys what we've done. So in '25, we removed the township trees. We removed 87. We replanted 120. Private, there was 298 removed, 219 were replanted. So we're down by 46. But that's because anyone that are removed on somebody's property, we can't force them to replant them, but they do contribute to the tree fund. We have $37,000 now in the tree fund, which will give us approximately 90 more trees. So if you look at the total, we're actually plus once those 90 trees are bought and planted. We're actually up. I followed up, we talked about the rails to trails. I got an email from the county. They gave me the gentleman's name at DOT to contact. I have called them 3 times. I have not received a call back yet. As soon as I do, I will keep you in the loop on that. I wanted to touch on, Mike, you might want to comment with me on this, make sure I cover it. We've been working on Duffy's Lot, I think, as everyone knows. Application was deemed complete, and DEP is going to start the review process. We did send the money in for the application, so everything as far as we know at this point is now it's all in their lap. So,
30 days to deem it complete, which they have. Now they are under a 90-day time clock to actually render a decision.
so I think actually we're in pretty good shape on Duffy's Lot. We're hoping that we're going to get approval and we can start looking at trying to get the flooding there taken care of. I wanted to talk about, Tamara, can you bring up the culvert? I think probably everybody knows that they started the culvert on Caldwell actually today. Mike and I and Robbie were over there. They've already got the culvert out. The road is dug up. We looked today, they actually have a saw cut on the side where the bank is. And Mike, I know you spoke to them. The saw cut should be where they're done digging, correct?
That's right.
And that looks like it leaves us enough room to be able to get around it. We spoke to them and they're going to try to get us a path. So hopefully that's going to take care of itself. We won't have an issue with trying to get the school over to Ruby Field. They also have angled the Jersey barriers so that if we come down Caldwell, we can actually make a right into the park, so we'll be able to maintain the fields. So I think we're in decent shape there. So if anybody wants to take a look at that when you're out, they're digging away pretty quick already.
How long is it? How long?
They said they won't be done totally until July is the end date. So, yeah, I don't know if that section will be closed until July. I mean, they seem to be moving pretty decent, so it was encouraging.
Yeah, once they finish the demo, the utility companies which have temporary water and gas in there will go in there, put their permanent lines in under the culvert. At that point, they go in there and put the culvert back in, and it's a precast culvert. So
Right.
once they start that, it should be pretty quick to close up the opening. Then it's just all the other ancillary improvements.
So we're hoping we're gonna not have an issue there that we were very concerned about. The last thing I want to touch on is we want to talk about, as everyone knows, this past winter was very difficult for us. We had a difficult time getting salt. So we think it would be prudent for the township to have a backup. So we started looking at locations. This is the location that is up on Treetop. And this lot is the one I think we swapped with the school years ago. If you look at it, it slopes from front to back. We'd have to remove basically every tree on that lot because we need to have room to turn around. We need to be able to put a dome, and we need to be able to have a tandem trailer go in there with salt. The other thing that is very concerning is, Tamara, if you can go forward. Yeah. It's wetlands. So quite honestly, we'd never get past the EP putting a salt dome back at the end of that. It's just not in the cards. So I think for those reasons, I don't think that's the place that we should be looking. So the other place we looked at is the far end of the parking lot at the pool. This is all the way down the very end where the water company owns the property after us. We'd be down against that fence. Our dump site is down there for DPW. So we're looking at how many tons are we looking at, 450?
400.
400-ton salt dome, which the dimensions on that, Robbie, is, you're on, you're off.
Green light.
Green light.
Green light.
You're off. Keep pushing. There you
There we
go.
go.
It's 35 by 40.
30 by 40 would be the salt dome. Tamara, can you bring up the picture of the salt dome? So we're looking at the hoop because that protects the sides. Are we looking, no, we're looking at the other one, aren't we, Robbie?
Right now you're looking at the side view.
Yeah, but we're looking at the one with square sides, right? Not the hoop,
Correct.
because we're worried about the hoop getting hit.
Yes, so we're going to have a gable on that.
Yeah.
So, and it's going to sit parallel to the fence in the back. So you'll always be looking at the side view, which is this.
So we're gonna have 6 foot in block, then the wall coming up and then pitching. This way we can get the salt and we can go in with our equipment and not worry about hitting one of the sides like around the hoop. We're looking at about 150 grand to put the dome up.
I want us to discuss that before we,
Yeah,
I mean, we're going to discuss it.
yeah.
for
But
a
keep
minute
in mind
now.
that in order to be done in time for the fall or so, we gotta get going in the next couple of months. So if there are any questions on that, we certainly are here to answer, and anything further you need, it's up to you.
Conclude your report.
Um,
Wait for him to end the report. Wait for him to end the report, and then we can let the record reflect that Committeeman Capides is here.
yes, you can go from there if you'd like.
Okay. So I think this is a good time to talk about the salt dome. If anybody has any comments, questions about it now, we'll just go down the line, starting with Rich.
I think, in my opinion, why wouldn't we put it on the dirt or, down toward the baseball field, softball
We're
field?
not allowed, they won't allow us to put it on dirt, you'd have runoff.
That's also a flood area down there.
'Cause I mean, in the middle of a parking lot,
It's
I,
not,
I want a dome, but in the middle of a parking lot, I just don't.
but Rich, Committeeman Huber, it's not in the middle. It's
know
all the
it's
way
not.
down the very end. It's not in the middle of the parking lot. It should not impact anybody parking there for the pool.
What's the proximity to individuals' houses? Because I know that one, it does,
Yeah.
on the left.
only houses you have are going
Or is it not, because doesn't American Water have a?
a road.
They got a road,
They have a road
and then
behind
it's the
it.
backyards and then the houses after that.
And then the houses have their backyard, so you're probably talking, I don't know, probably 450, 500 feet
And there is ample,
coverage.
And we can put additional screening up also.
the other is how do you protect against the runoff? The best we can. I mean, I'm sure there's,
Mike, would you like to comment?
or will there not be any runoff?
The runoff of the salt material? Oh, well, again, with the structure, the fabric, you're enclosed on all sides except in the front, whether you have a drop-down front,
Which we are going to.
Which we are going to have.
then you basically are weatherproof from it.
You are.
Yeah, and 99 and 44, the ivory snow.
And this winter was particularly bad, but knock on wood, I'm praying next year is not. Does the salt last from year to year, or is there a time period, an expiration date?
Last for years.
It
But
does.
again, the goal would not be to fill it in July, early, so that it's sitting up there.
No, that's my,
And year to year, once we're done in the winter, we're not going to fill it up immediately.
no, but.
So we're trying not to have
But
it-
say you filled it up, we get very lucky, there's no year, it's not like we have to empty it out and buy new.
No.
It would last us until the next season.
Yes.
It's the same as anybody else's dome. If we have a very light winter, everybody stocks up for the winter. If we have a light winter, that salt just
It lasts.
sits until the following year. And I do want to just bring up that for years, that's where we stored our salt for winters before. We partnered up with the county. We used to put it in the parking lot, and we covered it with a giant tarp. And at the end of the year, we would push it to the back of the parking lot, recover it, and we would leave it there until the following year, until we partnered with the county.
Rich, sorry. Did you have anything else?
No, for right now, no.
Chris?
Yeah, I'm not for this at all. We have a beautiful parking lot. I understand it's at the end of there. I'm not looking to put a tent that looks like it parks army trucks in there with salt at our pool. I don't know what the county's malfunction is, or how, or why we don't have access to salt when we need it. Let's be clear on this, because we're building a salt dome because the county doesn't want to open up the gates for us at specific times. Am I accurate on that one?
There's been times when I was unable to get salt from the county because there was nobody up there. There were other times when,
In the middle of a storm, that there's nobody up there?
no, in the middle of a storm, they're up there, but their roads are different from ours. And when we need to treat our back roads, they're finished with the county roads and they're home. And I need to get salt. Sometimes it's tough for me to get up there.
So for me, the park is the easy, for me, the pool parking lot's the easy grab. I asked John to look in the treetop up there, and I would be interested in that. But my vote is that there is no way I would take this beautiful pool situation we have, which is arguably one of the nicest around, and it is finally gaining steam with membership and everything else, and put a salt dome there. That's all I got.
Good evening, everyone. Forgive me for being late. I had a work commitment, but I'm glad to be here, and I want to apologize again for what I might have missed. But I know that me and Mr. Betcher have been talking quite frequently with the DPW and over these storms, and you know, it goes without saying, you guys and the supervisors and the crews, they do a hell of a job. And I remember that we were talking at some point about a situation where we were perhaps partnering with Milburn to try to cover the cost of a larger dome and salt and have a surplus. Due to circumstances beyond our control, Milburn is not in play anymore for whatever reason, so we were going to go smaller.
Because we reduced the size of the dome, once we saw the footprint in the parking lot,
Right.
I realized at that point that that particular dome, to partner with them, was way too big. So I reduced the size down to the smallest I could to present to the Township Committee.
Okay, understood, and I appreciate the clarification. When it comes to the dome itself, I too was, that's what I was, and forgive me for being a little naive, I was thinking, you know, you drive down the parkway, you see the domes, is that what you were initially envisioning, something like that, or is this?
This is what I was planning to put up there. This is what your surrounding towns, your smaller towns, Milburn, Mountainside just put one up. That's actually Mountainside's dome.
And how would, this might be a silly question, but it's an important one. How much does this help during a snowstorm, not only having the snow, the salt, but the surface? How does this help your operation during a storm?
Well, for instance, this year, the county could not get deliveries for the longest time. So we were going to other towns trying to get salt, and their salt domes only hold up to 600, and they were having trouble getting deliveries. So having a dome, in my opinion, was a source for us to access when we run into these situations, and we had salt. And I get it, there's real no property for us to put a dome, so I just looked at every option. This was the only one that I could come up with.
And I'm assuming, and again, this is kind of piggybacking off of what Committeeman Weber said, in terms of, I do agree, the pool parking lot, I think it would be, out of all the locations in Springfield, the most appropriate, but I'm concerned about the location of, the specificity of the location that it would be. Can you kind of explain to me again where you were planning on putting the dome?
If you go into the pool, you go all the way down the very end where American Water is,
Yes.
all the way down against that fence, as far away from the entrance as you can get.
You can sell this all you want. It's still, when you drive into the parking lot, you're looking at a tent filled with salt.
Is there a,
Let's be clear on that one.
no, I don't want to cut you off, sorry.
No, it's okay. But I'm saying that if there wasn't if this, I think this is an appropriate location. But for the totality of the circumstances of Springfield, was there other locations considered? And if there were, why would they be not a strong choice?
Yeah, I'm curious, though, why would you say that the pool parking lot's a great, I would like to know your reasoning, because maybe I'm off. Why a pool parking lot's a good location for a salt dome?
Not being used.
I think it's a situation where it's out of the way.
Let's not worry about aesthetics. Go ahead.
It's out of the way. It is in a remote location.
It is,
We have a big enough area over there to accommodate this dome without interfering with any other service. And we obviously have a need for this because of the amount of salt that we're given or have access to. We need a supply. And the totality of the circumstances with the situation, this would be the prime location to do this if we were gonna do it.
So, couple more questions, just on other locations.
Can I,
Oh, if you're still going, I'm happy to.
no, you guys can go, because you guys, I mean, I have questions, but if you guys wanna,
Oh, no, I already went. I will go after.
I mean, I know, again, I'm sorry I was late, and I know I didn't listen to all the conversations
No,
we
I thought-
had before I came in,
I thought you were done.
but I thought the mayor was
going
saying
on.
we were gonna go down the line, and then that kinda
We're,
got.
yeah,
and we
it got
started
blown
talking
up.
over each other, and I just didn't think that was conducive, so I'll listen.
No, Committeeman Capity's still you.
No, it's okay. I've had conversations
Okay.
with Mr. Betcher about this for
Maybe I could bring that up.
a little while off the dais, and that's fine. You guys can say what you need to say.
If I could, I'd just like to make another comment. So I just spoke to Mike, so we actually, and John, you know what I'm talking about. Adjacent to my Hershey building is a stone lot, which we own, next to lot.
I was going to ask.
And right now, we're keeping all of our trucks on it. So that could be,
Could we pave that and make it there? But then, to that point, isn't that in the middle of a residential?
yes, but we have.
And where are you putting your trucks?
Exactly, which is why I'm having a hard time finding.
And then you got the people in the Gomes building looking directly across at it.
So I'll take my time now. Have we given any, have we gone to the part of price yet? Is there an approximate cost?
150,
Yeah,
150,000. And how many tons?
400.
Yes, but how many tons does it take to coat the town?
depends on the type of snowstorm we get. I could use
For the heavier,
For the heavier-
22 inches of just, white
probably
blanket?
between 100 and 125 on a real heavy storm.
On a real heavy, okay, so I mean, this would give us a 4X approximately
Approximately.
supply, okay. I know we looked at the pool, that side of the pool. Have we looked back by the baseball field tucked against those walls? Does that not work? Because that's much more out of the way.
There's a, and I know Mike had mentioned that when we were out today. It's, so you have the jitney lot that goes down about a third of the way. There's some other activity there, but the biggest activity is for the ball field, and that's where everybody parks. I don't know, it could be a spot that we could go look.
Is that a flood area back there, Mike?
When you go on the pool property and you go from the pool building towards the baseball field, that's where you enter the flood area. The other concern there is, it doesn't appear to be, but DOT owns the lot immediately adjacent to the wall. So that area that you see there, including where probably some of our vehicles are parked, it's technically on DOT property. So if you wanted to put it down that area, you'd have to keep it left justified to the fence of the pool property.
Okay. No, you're good, go.
You favor where you have the drop-off for the grass, for everything else, and then you could put the dome next to that. Is that where you're saying the area could be?
Still at the I don't know, could you fit it where we have the grass the drop off and electronics and that's, that row there?
We would have to look at it, but again, that's where the jitney park.
But is that, to your point, Committeeman Weber, is that then more visible to the people in the pool there as opposed to the other end of the parking lot?
Microphone.
My opinion is, when you have something as nice as the pool, you don't mess it up with other stuff. You leave it alone. It is taken, the TCs before us, between the building, the resurfacing, the landscaping, I don't want a salt dome there. I mean, there are other places, whether it's parked on the side of the Hershey building, whether we figure out a way, you have an entire empty parking lot that the police use that has a garage there on Caudwell that is useless. Make them find some other place to park.
That is in the residential area.
I hear that, but there is also other means to construct a nicer building.
If
And
I
that's
was
what
going
I'm
to
just
put
saying
my,
is that right now you have a gravel parking lot that has nothing in it but a rundown garage. Nothing else.
yeah, but it's right next to, that's residential.
You can put it on the side of like you said, the Hershey building. You're residential right there next to the pool.
I mean, it's at least backed off a little bit. There is an American water right-of-way. I'm not saying that's ideal,
Right.
but I don't know if I want to put it right in the downtown. I think people want to get rid. Isn't Milburn's Salt Dome, as I understand, in the downtown? Aren't they trying to get rid of it
It's on
there?
their lot.
Yeah.
And their lot is based downtown.
Then I say we park it and we keep searching for different situations. Just because that's the first one that shows up and that's the easy grab.
How about could we partner with the school?
I was just about to
to maybe use a school parking lot or the high school in the back there? I mean,
Well, being as they get their salt from us,
yeah.
maybe that's an idea that we could possibly look at. And again, I'm bringing this up because there has been situations where we really had to scramble for salt. And I'm not looking to sever ties with the county, but rather, when we run into those situations, to have a good supply of salt for the safety of the township.
I don't think you have a disagreement on the need for it. I think the issue is location.
Where it is.
And John, could we start a dialogue with the superintendent on possible locations?
Tomorrow.
Are there any parks? We have, Adam's not here. I don't know what we have, 13 parks, 14 parks that we have?
There's an access issue with parks. I mean, you putting in the middle of a park is incredibly difficult to get to in the middle of a snowstorm.
Right, is there any
Because
kind of land or?
because you'd have to pave it. But
And Treetop is definitely out.
It's just the site work alone that you would have to do up there, and I don't know how the DEP would play.
Well, also, just going to it, you're going up a fairly steep incline to get to that lot. In the middle of a snowstorm, do we want to try to be driving?
And you would definitely have to remove quite a few trees. Then you got the residents that are directly across from the driveway going in. You're gonna have triaxle tandems come in. They're gonna deliver. You're gonna have backup beepers late at night.
So you're saying it's not, like,
Residential, no.
I don't think you get past DEP with the wetlands.
No, that's probably a poor life choice.
Oh, so that
Well,
land, so
wait a
that
minute.
that Treetop land is, let's be clear, is completely
There's a
useless.
sign on it that says wetlands.
What about?
Good deal they made for that one.
What about on top of that hill? There's supposed to be, used to be a baseball field years ago, and I didn't even know how to get up there, up to the top of the field. Isn't there a field, wasn't there a
Where's that,
field
Rich?
like up there years ago? Used to be a
Yeah,
field,
there used to be a baseball field up there at
yeah.
that.
I know there was a field up there years ago, and I never was up there. I mean, I gotta agree with Chris on the location. We need it, and I agree with you 100%.
Also, I'm imagining that the trucks, it's probably easier access down, not up in the.
Yeah, down here.
Be a very difficult location.
How about partnering, I don't know, there's, the buildings on, now they are private area, but the buildings towards, like where Dobbs is, and then there's the commercial properties on the other side of Dobbs going to Milburn.
So you're talking off Edison Place?
Yeah, would it be possible to maybe
Well-
purchase some of their parking lot?
We actually own the property behind the one building on Edison Place, and years ago, we were looking to buy that. It was an ideal. It was an ideal spot for DPW because we own the property behind the building in Main Street. So it just never came full circle. But, I mean, if there was something where we could talk to them and, you know, there would be,
I think we got some ideas to
I think
start
I like
exploring.
that, and possibly we'll reach out to Rachel.
that would definitely be away from any residential area.
That would be.
Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Good conversation. Now for another really good conversation, I want to punt it to, well, first, everybody up here knows that the Springfield Police Department is switching dispatch services from an internal dispatch to the county, correct?
Yeah, we did that last January.
Correct, we did that, back in the Mesozoic era. But this presents a unique challenge as it pertains to overnight parking. So I want to punt it to Captain Rachel, who's here in Chief Cook's stead, to give a quick update as to how it impacts the operations of the police department and what you would be looking for from us, if you don't mind.
So currently, the overnight parking approval process is kind of antiquated, where the residents call up on the telephone, officer answers the call, and then grants or denies permission for overnight parking. With moving to county dispatch, we're no longer going to have officers manning the police desk 24 hours, 7 days a week. We're not going to be able to answer the overnight parking phone calls anymore. So we're going to look to update the system to an online portal that's going to be integrated with our CAD system, where the residents will go on, log in, and put their address in, vehicle information, and request overnight parking in that manner. It's going to be reviewed by a police supervisor, and the list will then go out to the officers for enforcement purposes. Along with that, though, I think it's time that we look at revamping the ordinance, too, to create more specific parameters for grace periods for overnight parking, and then for residents that have long-term concerns, possibly establishing some kind of a permit program. That way, everybody was on the same page, and there's no questions as to who gets approval, who doesn't, and it takes some of the officer's discretion out of it. It is what it is.
So seeing how going down the dais worked so well the last time, I'm not going to advocate for that. Does anybody have any? Does anybody have any comments, and would anybody like to kick it off?
Didn't we talk about that last year?
So we had talked about overnight parking, and with the delays in the dispatch, we kind of just punted it. Now it looks like county dispatch is becoming much more real.
Very close.
It's
yeah.
becoming much more realistic. So I mean, we're looking at making a decision, and we need to make a decision.
I thought for parking, we were gonna, anywhere in town, and all the time, we were gonna go on the computer, and, I'm parked on Mountain Avenue, and I go on the computer or go on my phone and say, I'm here, I'll be here for an hour. That's it,
So I
Hey.
guess that's the first question. Is there a reliable program out there available that we can use to allow people to plug in their request?
Yes.
And then is it automatic, or does a police officer still need to accept that request before it's,
So to answer the first part, there is a reliable system. It's integrated with our CAD system, so it goes right into all of our police records. There still is a review process that'll have to be done by the supervisor who's on duty.
so like if I was to text it or email or whatever, I would then get a confirmation sent back saying,
You'll
hey.
get an email
the
notifying
police-
you it's accepted or rejected, yes.
Okay.
Now, what would happen if somebody is not very tech literate, possibly a senior citizen or somebody who is disabled, or somebody who just simply isn't good at tech, like Rich? How would they go about getting overnight parking for their loved ones or whoever?
Well, they would.
Because right now, all you have to do is call the desk,
Correct.
and it could be 1:59 in the morning, and you call the desk and you're added to a list. So how would they go about getting parking?
They would have to contact the county dispatch. You know, they would call the police department number, they would answer. And at this point, I'm assuming they would redirect it to us or take a message and have the supervisor call them back.
None of that works. You can't, county's not going to relay
I thought that,
an overnight parking request to us, and by the time they get to it,
If it does, it would be like 3 days
right,
later.
the ticket's written. The only way this thing works is either you do a Park Mobile app with them, you sell parking permits by the month and give residents an X amount of days for it, or you staff a civilian in there for emergencies, and they take the calls, if that's what we have.
What do other towns do currently? Because I'm sure we're not,
There's a combination.
there is, so some just do complete.
Most of them that have overnight parking, you just get permits. There are towns that use the same portal that we're gonna be, we're actually gonna try to do a test phase with it soon, because obviously we wanna make sure everything's functioning before we go to the county dispatch. I don't know of another town that physically takes phone calls for it anymore. Everything is usually app-based or computer-based.
Okay.
Yeah, it's unfortunate, right? DMV, you have to do it. People figure it out, or you
just don't get served.
just don't get served. And to be completely honest, actually, I think I find in my run of life, the seniors are more apt and have more ability nowadays than probably some of our younger people. So.
This parking overnight thing's been kicked around for more years than it should have, and it needs to be done at this point. And my recommendation then is, listen, not everybody should be entitled to overnight parking. I have a 100-foot driveway.
Correct.
My driveway luckily fits 5 or 6 cars, depending on size, right? Chris has a driveway that fits 2 cars. Nothing else has 2 kids. Rich, you got a driveway that fits,
or you have 3 or 4 cars.
yeah, 3 or 4, so they vary. I really think that zoning has to go around, or whoever has to go around, take a look at these driveways, see if they can apply for permits, and a permit structure has to come up with, where it's yet affordable for residents to purchase, but not so affordable that they're just gonna go buy parking permits and just park on the street if they want.
Yeah, I don't, but see, that's where you're gonna get into a slippery slope where people are, that's what they're gonna wanna do. And
Right.
I just do not like it. I've been against overnight parking. I've been a zero tolerance for it. If you call it in and it's approved for that evening, of course, if you're having a party, if you're having people over. But I am not for opening it up, for long-term at all.
We could always go say, Alex, you have a car and you're here visiting somebody.
That's
Come here.
different. I'm for
And you're here for a
allowing
week.
that.
I understand that, and we give a permit for a week, that's it. But I'm saying, and I agree with Chris, where I'm not gonna give, like, carte blanche and say, even if it's $50 a month, I don't care. I don't think you should do. They can go park in a lot over here.
You can purchase,
It-
yeah,
it is-
there's opportunities to purchase parking, additional parking in the lot. I think opening extended parking for anybody on the roads is the wrong move. I think it makes a cluster. Look how it's hard navigating Union at night sometimes.
Agreed, but
I understand that some people might have more cars now. Well, then you got to find a way to maybe purchase a permit from our local library lot, which has plenty of parking and
but
availability.
how does,
Chris Capides.
And Alex, I'm on the fence about this, but that particular idea for me, like getting a permit to park in another location, that doesn't work for me. If I have 3 cars and I have a driveway that only has 2, I have an issue. And I don't know what the answer is. But that system.
I'm not for, I'm not for, I'm telling you what I'm not for. I'm not for overnight, allowing overnight.
I'm just,
I'm for keeping
I'm
it the
just-
way it is.
okay. So, I want to have a goal here that maybe we can have a discussion. I know that we're talking about a lot of exciting topics, but I just want to say maybe we can have a conversation where everybody can finish a thought before we jump on each other. It's exciting. We're all into it. We're all passionate. We're all excited. But if we can,
I'll reiterate, I'm not for it, and I'll leave my comments there.
okay, cool. No, I appreciate it. Is this an issue? How big of an issue is overnight parking, would you say? I know that's a broad question, but is it really becoming an issue in Springfield?
I wouldn't say it's becoming an issue, but it could become a logistical issue once, we're not having people answer the phone anymore. So something has to be done with that. We actually ran some statistics when we were discussing this, and we found that there's about 90 addresses that have gone over 14 days in the past year. So it's not that bad. Those would be the ones that would be considered getting, possibly a long-term pass. And reasons for that could range from, children being home from college over the summer. We get a lot of those. Construction on the house, the driveways are inaccessible. Handicap people, things like that.
And again, another silly question, but I'm just trying to wrap my head around this. The enforcement of it, this is a daily,
Every night,
every night.
every night.
So it's an issue that's been, okay. Because, and I've sat up here and talked about this before, I am, and this is a to be continued certainly, but I am in favor of a parking permit situation. I don't know what it looks like, I don't know all the criteria for it, or the totality of the circumstances for that, but, we put a permit fee together that's not minimal, but large enough that families do need to consider if it's worth the investment and do it, because, and it's nobody's fault, it's just these driveways and all these different original builders, the driveways are just not long enough, as Chris said.
Part of the, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Okay.
Part of the requirement that we have talked about as part of the approval for the permits is actually having an inspection done. Committeeman Weber said by somebody in zoning. We can have a police officer do it as well to confirm there is, physically no space for a vehicle to be parked. Because we can't have, vehicles parking against the ordinance just because they have the permit now.
Right.
So it has to still be curtailed as much as possible.
Can I ask,
I'm just looking at my street, and I know, not including myself, I know of four of my neighbors that are gonna have an issue within 2 years, 5 if you want to include my household. So and I'm not sure exactly what other driveways may or may not look like around town, but I have to imagine as kids get older and cars it's gonna become a larger issue. So I am definitely in favor of expanding the conversation, having a larger conversation about the permits and the process and procedures for that. And if it doesn't pass this township committee, it certainly won't, but I would be one in favor of expanding that conversation.
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
John, does Park Mobile have anything that could help us?
Park Mobile, you can log in and we could possibly set up a zone for overnight parking and people can pay per night.
Can they just go by plate?
It would be by plate.
Well, I'm saying where the police, forget zone, where they just roll up to any space specifically, run a plate and go paid or not paid.
It's not as straightforward as going out with the list like it is now, like checking the plates.
Okay.
So
Possible, but
Would need work to do that.
so per year, how many overnight parking tickets?
I don't have that number off the top of my head.
I'd set you up perfectly because you gave me the number. It was like, it was over 800.
I mean, we discussed this last week. There was a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and these are $60 tickets, right? Because they're township ordinances.
Correct.
So, I mean, it's a significant chunk of revenue for the town. So and I'm just saying, if we go through a permitting process, which I think is the real question that's in front of us, we do need to be cognizant about lost revenue.
Well, we have a catch right here because we have, I'll just put Alex's opinion, right? We have a catch here because our job up here is, number one, to maintain the aesthetics, the safety of the town, But our concern also is not to inconvenience and cause residents undue hardships for something simple like parking or so on. You know, so it all ties in together. There is a solution, I think we just have to figure it out because, and I keep using Henshaw because Henshaw is one of them, and you can use, you know, Colonial, or there's a few of them you can use, where just unfortunately, the time frame that these houses were built in, the family had one car, and that was that. And we have to find, our job up here, whether anybody likes it or not, is to find a balance that's going to, again, preserve, because the cop will tell you over there, it's really convenient to drive down a block and see no cars on a block.
Absolutely.
And one guy or a one-man car can control one sector. It's not unreasonable to bring a car with 50 miles in at a night, just driving around and seeing the streets clear.
I think with what we're facing in the area of, you know, increased break-ins, right?
Right.
Attempts to steal vehicles, and I'm not saying it as a worrisome thing, right? Like, I think we've done a great job, and that's a credit to the police department and our area. But when you add to people parking on the street, I think there's not only an aesthetic, which I do not like. I will be very candid. We've had a lot of the communities around us don't allow parking on the street, right? Why would we change that now? Just the aesthetic alone, and then the public safety, when you're allowing people to do it. And then the fights that we're going to. My neighbor got it, and what are you talking about? Are you telling me that my 30 feet extra, I can fit a car? I don't, you know, and the fights that we're setting up for our zoning and police, I just don't like that. I agree. I think we should institute some kind of app for allowing what we currently allow to go forward. But when you open it up, you're kind of rubber stamping it that, yeah, you can get a permit. You can do it. And I really don't like how you're going to set up an opportunity where we're picking and choosing some winners and some losers. I really don't like the aesthetic look of, I like at 2 o'clock in the morning, it's clear, you're able to find it. And then 3, in our current climate that we're facing, with increased break-in attempts, increased burglaries, keeping people off the street for the most part, I think is the right policy decision.
Yeah, but didn't you say, if I misunderstood you, I apologize, you have about maybe 14 cars that abuse it?
There's 90 addresses that have gone over 14 days.
90 residents. 90 residents out of 5,000,
17,000.
whatever it is.
Well, that's addresses.
And
That's
to that point, right? If you're calling it in, if you're doing it, I'm less, if it is even for the long term, at least doing it. When you're then getting into a permit, do they just leave the car parked there? At least there's some effort every single day, a cognizant awareness where you have to call it into the police. I like that, where then somebody isn't just there rolling up, parking the car, leaving it for 3 months as they go away to school and just being like, all right, I'm peacing out, right? Like, there is an awareness of the resident that has to call it in every day. At least we're checking in. Even if they are, as Richwood might say, exceeding or abusing the system, at least they're making the effort and they have to do it every day.
Well, and there's nothing to say that if we did some type of permit system, that we would put together a very specific criteria of which they would have to abide by to include all the comments that we're talking about here. And, you know, yeah, street cleaning, your driveway has to be a certain amount of length or else it disqualifies. You can't, you know, a certain amount of day limit, you know, to it. I mean, we can talk about all sorts of criteria, specific criteria, that I don't think it would be, I would certainly not want a carte blanche system where we just give anybody who wants to apply for one. I think there's got to be a specific criteria under which to do so. And I'm wondering, in terms of making a better informed decision, and I exactly don't know what this looks like, but maybe we could put out some type of survey to residents, streamline it to, you know, residents that have, you know, children of a certain age or young adults of a certain age with driveways of a certain length. I'm just spitballing here to say, listen, what, you know, what are we looking at? Is there a need for it? Is there not a need for it? And then maybe we can have a better informed decision about what if it's really necessary. And then if it is necessary, then we could talk about specific criteria under which someone can apply for and qualify for such a permit.
So that was going to be where I was going to leave it. I was going to ask everybody for a straw poll, permit, yes or no, and then doing some sort of public outreach to solicit more input. So those are my two questions. I'm just going to go down the dais. Yes or no, do you want a permit? And yes or no, would you like to solicit more input from the public? So Rich, and then we'll move on with the meeting.
Listen to the public, yes, I would go for a permit,
Thank you.
but you don't just get a permit for,
100%.
the whole summer, the whole summer, that's it.
Got it. Weber,
Yes with established criteria.
thank you.
It's a survey with criteria attached to the application.
I would like to hear more info from the public, and I'm open to a permit process. Alex?
I'm not going to ever say no to getting public input, but no.
Okay, moving on with the meeting. Alex's favorite part of the meeting, minutes.
Fine. I will make a motion to adopt the regular meeting minutes of January 27, 2026 as emailed.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you. All right. Okay, we have a second reading on ordinance 2026-03. This ordinance repeals sections 35 and 86, development fee regulations, to repeal and replace section 35-34, affordable housing of chapter 35, land use of the municipal code of the township to address requirements of the Fair Housing Act, FHA, as amended, and the Uniform Housing Affordability Controls, UHAC, as amended, regarding compliance with the township's affordable housing obligations.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-03 is read by Madam Clerk.
Second.
All right, we have a public hearing on ordinance 2026-03. The podium is now open for public hearing on ordinance 2026-03. Anybody? I'm going to close the public hearing. Madam Clerk?
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber?
Yes,
Mayor Laufer?
Yes.
Okay. Ordinance 2026-04. This ordinance amends Section 35-17 overlay zones and mandatory set-aside ordinance of Article 5, District Regulations of Chapter 35, Land Use of the Code of the Township, Chapter 35, Land Use Regulations, to effectuate the fourth-round housing element and fair share plan of the township as amended and enacted pursuant to court order by the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield, County of Union, State of New Jersey.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-04 as read by Madam Clerk.
Second.
Okay, we have a public hearing on ordinance 2026-04. The podium is now open for ordinance 2026-04. I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing. Madam Clerk?
Committeeman Weber?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser?
Yes.
Committeeman Capides?
Yes.
Committeeman Huber? Mayor Laufer?
Yes. We have no ordinances on first reading, so now we're on to resolutions. If anybody would like to pull a resolution, please indicate after it is read. 2026-87, 2026-88, 2026-89, 2026-90, 2026-91, 2026-92, 2026-93, 2026-94, 2026-95, 2026-96, 2026-97, 2026-98, 2026-99, 2026-100,
Wait, hold on. Pulling 96 and 99.
pulling 96 and 99, 2026-101, 2026-102, 2026-103, and 2026-104. Remember, that's pulling 96 and 99.
I will make a motion to adopt the following resolutions by consent agenda. Resolution 2026-87 through Resolution 2026-95. Picking that up with Resolution 2026-97 and 2026-98, and then 2026-100 through Resolution 2026-104.
Do we?
Second.
Second, perfect. Madam Clerk?
Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Committeeman Kapidis.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
Yes.
Okay, 2026-96. This resolution of the Township Committee of the Township of Springfield is adopting an affirmative marketing plan for the Township of Springfield.
I'll make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-96.
Second.
The reason for pulling it, can somebody explain what we're doing here?
We're required by law to affirmatively market all the affordable housing units to very low, and moderate income.
Got you. Okay. I was just wondering that if that was part of that or not. That was my confusion.
Got you.
And just, unfortunately, the mayor went too quick before. Could have just asked you on the side.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Committeeman Kapidis.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber, Mayor Laufer.
Yes.
Resolution 2026-99. This resolution is in support of the New Jersey Climate Superfund Act.
Make a motion to adopt Resolution 2026-99.
Second.
I just was looking for a roll call vote.
Okay. Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Committeeman Kapidis.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber, Mayor Laufer.
Yes.
One other comment before moving on. Can we make sure Resolution 2026-87, it was part of the, I believe, the Rawway River Mayor's Group, that we can get it to them?
Yeah, I have the whole list of them.
Thank you.
All right, discussion and action item. Request from Troy Hills of Springfield Condo Association to hold meetings at the Chisholm Community Center, Margaret Bandrowski Meeting Room, for the following dates: Tuesday, March 17th, Tuesday, June 16th, Tuesday, September 15th, and Tuesday, December 8th. Signed, hold harmless agreement, and COI is attached. Is there a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Committeeman Huber,
Yes.
Committeeman Kapidis.
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Kaiser.
Yes.
Mayor Laufer.
Yes. Alex's second favorite part of the meeting.
Finally, I will make a motion to adopt payroll invoices for the period of February 25th, 2026 through March 10th, 2026 in the amount of $4,993,836.20.
Second.
Madam Clerk?
Okay. Deputy Mayor Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeeman Weber,
Yes.
Committeeman Kapidis.
Yes.
Committeeman Huber, Mayor Laufer.
Yes. Correspondence, we have Westfield Ordinance 2026-04, intro amendment to Prospect and Ferris redevelopment plan that has been received. Whoa. That has been received and filed. Now we are on public comment for any governmental issue. Would anybody from the public like to speak on any governmental issue? You can come up, absolutely. Yeah, you can come up.
Just name and address.
Correct.
I'm not sure if I
You gotta
should
speak into the microphone, please.
need to hear more. Okay, perfect.
Perfect.
I am not sure that this is a public issue. So I'm
May
not
I
sure.
please have your name and address?
Laurel. I live in Short Hills, New Jersey. So I'm actually not in Springfield, so I'm not sure if this is the best place to bring this forward at. But I am just here to make sure that people are signing up for petitions for the upcoming primaries. I'm working with Michael Roth for Congress, so if you folks are not signed up with a petition, even if it's not Michael Roth, I just want to encourage civic engagement and make sure that you guys are informed on the primaries that are coming up. And I'll be outside over there if you guys want to talk about it further. Any candidates really, and just want to, you guys are like, I'm sure, informed about what's going on. I was hoping there might be some more public members here.
Us too. Us too.
I enjoyed listening, so it was fun to learn more about Springfield. So I'm sure you guys are aware, but for our one friend over there in the audience, if you would like to talk about that, come
Well,
ahead and
that
grab
one's a
me.
tough tree.
Okay, all right, well, I'll be right out there if you want to talk. But again, thank you so much, guys, for your service and for serving your community. So have a good one.
Thank you, Laurel. Really appreciate it. Any final comments from the dais? Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
We are canceling executive session tonight. Committeeman Huber made a motion to adjourn. Is there a second? Second. All in favor? Aye. We are adjourned.